stick that where? Hey, everybody. Welcome. It is Monday night. Welcome to MCU Mondays. Are we live, Debbie? I didn't hear my phone go off. We've been having issues.
Yes, we're live.
We're live. All right. That makes me feel better. So, welcome to MCU Mondays. I am your host, David. With me, as always, is my co-host, Debbie. Debbie, how are you this evening?
I'm good. I'm very excited.
I
For
am
obvious
too.
reasons.
Obvious reasons, and those obvious reasons are sitting right below me in the form of the past host of MCU Mondays, the current guest co-host of MCU Mondays, Mr. Chris from It's a Vase Productions. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing well. It's great to be back on the show and see you guys, and I'm glad to be here to talk about Deadpool because, as usual, did not disappoint. So
Absolutely not.
I'll have to rant
Man,
about.
I have been panicking all day
about how good it was, as opposed to like what happened with Eternals, because
Yeah,
we don't
need another Eternals thing.
I just saw an article that was like Eternals 2 not going to happen, and I was like, called that when I saw Eternals 1.
I called that on the opening weekend of Eternals 1.
My goodness. But luckily we're here to talk about Deadpool, so looking forward to
called that during the opening credits.
All right. Also with us tonight, as he always is, Mr. Andrew. Andrew, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good. I'm also excited, just like everyone else, to talk Deadpool and Wolverine.
Awesome. Baldo is in the chat. Hello, how are you?
Hey.
Before we jump into Deadpool, we did have San Diego Comic-Con happen this weekend. A lot of stuff coming out of Hall H. If you've been keeping up, we'll probably go a little more into a little more detail with this. Maybe next week or two. We'll do a special episode or something and say, hey, here's what everything was going down. We got Fantastic Four news. They started filming yesterday. Was it today? I thought it was
today.
I thought it was Sunday. All right. So they started filming that today. Retro 60s vibe to it. What else?
I saw a picture. I'm sorry. I saw a picture of is it like what's his name? Who's playing Reed Richards?
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal. I saw a picture of him as Reed Richards. I'm sorry. Like, I like him as an actor, but I was not feeling that casting. I saw someone also made a meme that they put like a picture of Reed Richards, whoever played him in Doctor Strange, and then the guy from The Office. Yeah, Jim.
Jim.
They had
John
him.
Krasinski. Yeah.
Yeah, they had him, and underneath it said Reed Richards, and then they showed like Pedro Pascal, and underneath it was like Ricardo Rodriguez, and I was like, he just still has his mustache too. Like, I never thought of. I guess there's nothing to say Reed Richards can't have a mustache, but I don't know. When I just saw his casting, I was like, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm undecided about that one myself.
It's the Mark Ruffalo effect. Everybody was like, you saw Avengers come out and you're like, wait a minute, Edward Norton's not going to be Banner. We got Mark Ruffalo now. And you're like, and then you saw it and it was like, all right, that wasn't bad. That wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
So maybe it grows on you.
And he won't try to change the script like Ed Norton inevitably would. Love the man. But...
Fight the directors. Fight the power. Also, it looks like they're dropping the Kang aspect of what they started off with Phase 4. My guess would be mostly because of the whole Jonathan Majors incident. But we're getting Secret Wars in 2026 and then in 2027. And this was the big news.
Doomsday's first, I'm pretty sure.
Say that again?
Right? Isn't Doomsday first? Doomsday's first?
No,
right?
Doomsday's
Doomsday
second.
Was 2026.
I think Doomsday's second.
Okay.
So Doomsday's coming. Oh, Debbie's gonna look it up.
I shall research.
I was pretty sure I saw that that's supposed to hit the same day or month as Mando and Grogu, which is 26. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw.
But but don't. So anyway, big news on that. We've got Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. playing Doomsday. Jeez, I reverted back to DC.
Doctor Doom. He's a good doctor. The bad doctor, I guess.
The bad doctor.
A doctor.
Yes.
A doctor of evil.
Doctor Doom, Doctor Octopus. What did Sheldon say? It's amazing how many supervillains have doctorate degrees.
Look, they're smart. It's not. We're not trying to take anything away from these. They just happen to be focusing their intelligence in a direction that the common man might not understand.
That's right.
Morally questionable, but efficient usually.
But efficient, and a lot of times they get the job done. I mean, that's kind of their,
If it weren't for those pesky meddling kids,
but and see something else too. If they weren't getting the job done, then we wouldn't have a good story anyways. So
exactly. Now I gotta say this. Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. This maneuver. I think it's especially funny since we're going to be talking about Deadpool, and one of the funniest things about the new movie was many of the shots I think that it took at Marvel and the recent things that have been happening in Marvel and calling Deadpool Marvel Jesus, all these things that we're going to be talking about. But it's so funny to have that happening in this movie that's happening this opening weekend and have them announce like, oh, by the way, don't worry about Kang, and also Robert Downey Jr.'s back. We're great. Don't worry about it. It's like
Marvel saved.
How much of a desperation move do you think that was? Like, I don't think the plan was we get Robert Downey Jr. back as Dr. Doom. I think it was like, okay, what do we do? Because we are in serious trouble with this whole Kang situation. And it's like, I don't know, just shovel a bunch of money at Robert Downey Jr. And I think it's hilarious that he's playing a character, again, who's like behind the mask most of the time. Like, you could have gotten anybody, but they're like, nah, let's get RDJ.
And
hilarious.
Apparently that's comic accurate too, because in one universe, Tony Stark was.
I think it's the infamous Iron Man.
Would have preferred
Comics.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. Yes.
And as much as
new mask, same task.
As many questions I have as like wondering about Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards and like it would be so difficult to do worse than the last Fantastic Four movie that came out, because that one was just terrible. I remember rewatching that to see like, was that as bad as I thought it was? And I'm halfway through the movie and I'm like, they're just now like about to, for the first time, do something with powers. And I'm like, and we're halfway through this slog fest of a.
I watched it once and I don't think I
never felt the desire to go back. No. So like I'm saying, the bar has been set super low for Fantastic Four.
You don't have to do much to outdo Fantastic Four. So, I mean, even the first one, the original first one with what's her name in it, and Chris Evans, which
Jessica Alba,
Jessica Alba and Chris Evans, and Michael Chiklis. Yeah. I mean, I've got a soft spot for Michael Chiklis. I love him to death. And the first one was okay. It wasn't it wasn't horrible, but I rewatched Rise of the Silver Surfer recently, and I was like,
rough.
Oh,
it's rough.
God, what happened?
I don't know.
That was one of those movies where it was like, I seem to remember liking this when it first came out, and now it's just gotten bad.
I know for a fact, because I remember rewatching and being like, this one is definitely like worse. They were like trying to go for the sequel, but they kind of like miss the plot was kind of off. Jessica Alba looked weird because she was doing stuff with the contacts and her hair that she didn't do in the first movie. So like if you look at her eyes, it's like, what has happened to your eyes? Is that the superpowers? Is like, no, we're just not gonna talk about it. Don't worry about it.
An interesting thing that came up. Now apparently they dropped some concept art, and it looks like Galactus is going to be the big bad in the Fantastic Four movie.
They showed a trailer, which I sent to you guys.
You sent us a trailer for Fantastic Four?
Oh, you did?
How did you
I
send
sent
a
it
trailer?
to somebody. Who the hell did I send it to?
How
It's
did
out
you?
there.
You didn't send it to us.
How did
I
they
don't
have a
recall
trailer? They
getting
haven't even
anything
started.
from
They
you.
just started filming today. How do you have a trailer already?
It was like
Well, it's like a
the
tease.
test,
It's like a
test shooting
okay.
or
Yeah.
something. I know I sent that
Yeah.
to somebody. Damn it!
yeah,
Oh,
not us, but yeah. someone.
apparently, my son Luke sent it to me. Leaked test footage. Yeah.
Mhm.
Look at your phone, Dad.
I
That's
showed it at Hall H.
Yeah.
I'll look at it when the show's over.
Yeah, that's probably where I saw the
It was a
pictures of Pedro Pascal from.
It was a TikTok.
Mhm.
So anyway, there's I guess scenes of Galactus in there. So it looks like Galactus is going to be our big bad for.
You know, one
Fantastic
thing.
Four.
Something funny about Hall H. I don't know what Marvel did to convince Harrison to do this. If it was money, that was the most energetic I've ever seen Harrison Ford at any kind of event. I think
He
ever.
was
I mean,
awesome.
that much enthusiasm. You know,
I saw
I mean,
pictures of him.
yeah, no, it was, but I was like,
hulking
whoa.
out.
Hulking out, yeah.
So,
But here's
Masturbating.
the thing.
yeah,
Here's the
exactly.
thing
I
with
was like,
that is he's doing something now that's not Star Wars and it's not Indiana Jones. This is another branch of sci-fi fantasy that he can get
That's
into,
true.
and he's relevant again. So it's yeah, heck yeah.
mhm.
I was just
Yeah,
I was like, why were you so desperate to get Han Solo killed off if you're just gonna like jump into the Marvel universe? Like, what was you? Why did you? What?
right.
It's like, I hate Han Solo. Now let me go join the superhero squad because that's, I don't know. It's just,
Hey, you know what?
hey, I'm not mad
And
at
I
it.
can
like,
die.
It's a trifecta.
I could
Let
die
it go.
10, 12 times and still play the same character. You know.
So
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Deadpool is probably going to be like the high point of Marvel for a while. Like, even having watched like the trailer for the new Captain America Brave New World, I'm like, I mean, this could be all right, but there's no way that it's going to be like Deadpool 3. Like, the whole theater's like laughing and into the action and then laughing again. And then there's like, they bring it back with a tender moment, but then like the whole theater is again laughing at these jokes. Entertainment, like it was just really great entertainment. And I know that in a lot of Marvel movies, they have like a certain level of humor and you have fun, but I just can't imagine Brave New World like taking me to the level of excitement that Deadpool just did. And nothing else they've done recently has. I mean, what? Deadpool already beat out the entire theatrical run of the Marvels.
yeah,
Like, what does that tell you right
on opening
there?
weekend. So, but I think that's
Yeah.
because people hated
Well,
on.
Deadpool Wolverine is already. I think. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say I think that's just because people were already hating on Captain Marvel, and I don't think there were very many fans of Miss Marvel when it came out. So basically, they said, "Oh, you're taking two of the things that we hate and you're making one movie out of it." No,
Or
thank
things
you.
that people just like,
I don't care
you know,
about this. So,
and
no, thank you.
Captain Marvel's also one of those characters that like you're told to like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're told to enjoy. Like,
Mhm.
hey, it's Captain Marvel, so you have to like it because that. It's like also when they first announced her, and even as a user in Endgame, she's like was so much more powerful than everyone else. It's like
That was Feige said that this one she's the most powerful person in the MCU right now.
and it makes it like, why then?
Yeah.
There's no contest, or it's like
Mhm.
you have to like this character. Deadpool's not like that.
Coda's
Like,
correct.
Deadpool's just out there and does,
Yeah.
you don't have to like it, but you end up liking it more because it takes itself less seriously, I think.
Brave New World isn't supposed to be funny though.
Yeah.
Learn how to spell THOUGH, sir. I can say that as my kid. It looks more serious, and I think the director said it's similar to Winter Soldier. So,
Well, and Deadpool and Wolverine had the biggest opening weekend for an R-rated movie ever, and then I think had the 6th biggest opening weekend for a superhero movie ever. So it
While being rated
made a
R,
lot
I
of
mean,
good
that's
money
pretty
so
impressive.
far. I
Yeah.
know.
Okay,
Yeah,
before we get
I have no doubts that it'll hit $1 billion.
full on into Deadpool, let's run the intro, and then we'll start talking Deadpool. So here we go.
Let's fucking go.
Oh,
Now, in case you haven't figured it out, Deadpool being rated R, like I said, this will most likely be a slightly rougher than our normal PG-13 show. I'm sure there will be quotes thrown around. It's gonna be.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What are you talking about, David? Yeah, what are you talking about? You get Debbie at the right about a mad, and we hit that
So,
rating
so
in about
you
5
get more
seconds.
than one. You get more than one
So-
F-bomb in this episode. So
I gotta say
I get
that
I get a
intro
free
sounded
pass?
glorious.
Take it, Mom.
it did, doesn't it? That was amazing.
Yeah.
Whoever you
dude.
got to sing that. You
Hey,
just-
I gave credit where credit was
I
due.
saw that. I saw that. I was like, this is great.
In fact, for a while, I had you have written it and sung it, and then John Biscardi jumped on me and said, "No, I wrote all of that." All right, fine. Okay, fine.
That's, I mean, I think he did, yeah.
It
At
is
least
a-
half of it.
it
I'm
is a great
fine with
intro.
yeah,
It always
because
is.
when that goes golden, I'm gonna be like, those rights for that is mine. We're arguing over the rights to the MCU Mondays song. Oh, never
Okay.
thought life would take me here.
Credit where credit is due. So let's talk about Deadpool, shall we? Because, and I don't want to go just scene for scene, just because I wasn't able to watch it a second time, so I don't think I
Sure.
could really go scene for scene. Want to hit some of the high points. I want to hit, love this, didn't love this. Just starting off, and Chris, I already know what you're gonna say. I want to say I liked this Deadpool more than I liked the second one. The second Deadpool. If you're gonna compare all three Deadpools together, I think this one was better than the second one.
I think the thing that I really like about them is they're each their own movie and with different team ups. I like the fact that the first two did kind of have the team coming back. They're Colossus came back, but then he got to team up with Cable, and that was the big
That
team
was
up there. And so this one, obviously, the big focus was Wolverine. I think the second one.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Come back, Chris.
thought that
Come
was me.
back.
It wasn't you, Andrew. Don't worry.
Oh no! Someone
Maybe
opened
Chris's
the portal
mom
and is
is
sucking him out.
maybe Chris's mom is playing Fortnite.
Cassandra Nova.
Or they got bad weather.
Cassandra Nova opened up a portal. She went. before
He's
she
back.
died.
There he is.
We do have bad weather, so I hope that doesn't happen too often, but it will.
Only on our show.
Of course.
Just lucky, I get.
Right.
The third, I mean, there was just so much great about this one, but it was definitely, influenced by it. This movie couldn't have happened without everything else that it had, without the circumstances surrounding how the superhero movies got made for the past 20 years, without the original the first and second Deadpool are kind of important to this, just in setting up how Deadpool movies worked and things like that. But this took him farther away from his isolate, and again thrust him into that bigger Marvel universe, and there were some really great shots that he took, and there were some that he like when he headbutted the camera and he was like, "Screw you, Fox," bro. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to Disneyland.
I'm going to Disneyland.
calling himself Marvel Jesus.
He said there was that one line he said to him. He said, "Is this a bigger universe that I'm going to be marveling at?"
Marveling at.
I must have missed that.
There were so many jokes, and I know I missed a couple. Like, I'm gonna have to rewatch it just because like people were still laughing at the last one, or we're talking about something because again there were so many like moments in this film. Which they definitely. Would you say?
I was going to say, did you catch the Stan Lee cameo in this one?
My sister pointed it out to me. Luckily, I was totally gonna miss it. She was like, "He's on the bus." It was like the bus, right?
Yeah, it was on the bus. Yeah,
Yeah, but kind of like at the lower half of the screen,
it was like on the ad on the side of the bus or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I think, in Deadpool 2 when they were skydiving, I think he's on a billboard, and that would have been the first. I think that was the first movie that came out after he died. So kudos for Marvel for still paying homage to the creator of all things Marvel.
Things you didn't love.
What was funny?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that there was anything that I didn't
I don't
love.
think so. Yeah.
There was a montage, and I'm not a big one but this montage was amazing. He even said, "Cue the montage."
I thought of you when that came on. I was like,
y'all
"Oh
noticed Henry
no!"
Cavill?
It was
y'all
also
caught Henry Cavill, right?
Yeah.
Well, it was every one of those Wolverines was a famous within the comic books. It was a famous style of Wolverine, and he even said it on a couple of the famous brown and yellow first edition, blah blah blah. Then you had the one where he was.
That was the suit you were wearing when you fought the Hulk. The Hulk.
Yeah. which again, that plugs into because that was Wolverine's first appearance was fighting the Hulk. Was in a Hulk an issue of Hulk. So
and then Deadpool basically says the line from Loki. Loki says, "Oh shoot, my favorite thing from Loki, where he the Hulk smashes him around, but right before that he says, "You blundering fool, I'm a god."
Jesus.
But yeah, when they brought on comic accurate height
when he jumps
Wolverine, I was taking a sip of my
bub.
I was about to say,
I was taking a sip of my Coke and I about spit it out because I was not expecting it.
He jumps off the stool. I was like, "Hey, it's Tom Cruise."
Yeah, because Deadpool says, "Oh, you don't look too bad," and then he hops down,
and then he jumps off.
The Cavill, the Cavalrine. That one was that's been a lot of people have been fan casting that one. So
we will treat you right. Because Henry Cavill's like left like 2 or 3 different projects now because he's a huge nerd and he's a fan of the source material, and then they're like, we're gonna totally change that because we know better than the people that actually made this popular, and he's like, no, I won't do that.
And he's usually the best part of those projects.
Exactly. And then they change the source material badly, and then he leaves, and then they've got nothing. Exactly. It's like, if you wanted to make a different story, why didn't you go make a different story? Why are you? And I hate it when they do this. They do it with all kinds of different. It's like when you slap the title of something popular on something that is not that actual thing, just so you can
market it
tell
as
the story that you actually want to tell. It's like,
Yeah.
Go tell that story and stop trying to like use characters that have nothing to do with it to do that. Which
Like
I
they
think
did.
in this movie, in Deadpool 3, Ryan Reynolds said he had to deal with that kind of thing a lot. He said there were a lot of those types of changes trying to be made, or like that in the writing, like trying to come in and and he said we just wanted to put the entertainment first, let nothing get in the way of that. And I think why is that like a mind-blowing thing? Of why everyone should be doing this? Like why the entertainment, that's why people go to these movies, that's why people, and that's why this one's going to make so much money. And it's also people partially sending a message like, hey, we'll go see the movies if you make ones that we actually want to see.
Yeah. If you stay close to the source material, you don't have to be spot on with the source material, because we realize it's a different universe. I understand that. I get that. And it's like, oh, well, they told Tony Stark's story all wrong. It's like, different universe. It makes sense. This isn't the comic books. This is, but you're close enough to the source material to where it's still entertaining, and you can still get away with change. You can change a few things here and there, but the structure, the foundation is still good and solid. So.
And who knows, they might, I think the plan is probably to do away with the whole multiverse thing. I mean, as the way that the MCU is currently using it, just because it kind of, its existence kind of like undercuts the stakes of almost any story. Which they even kind of mentioned in Deadpool when he's like, the multiverse, like miss after miss after miss.
Phase 4, we need to retcon Phase 4. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, it's a little. They need to, trim down things a little bit. It just got to be too much. Without
quantity, they were quantity over quality. Is what it was. They chose we need to put as much stuff out there as possible. So it's TV show week off, TV show week off, TV show movie, then another TV show and 2 more TV shows and another movie, and that's all the first year. And it's like, oh,
and you throw Star Wars in there as soon as a Marvel show ends, then a week off, Star Wars picks up, and it was just like, oh man, I can't even process what I just watched because now I'm watching something else.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's see. This was a good one. Best thing in the opening was Bye 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 was a perfect choice. The entire soundtrack was a perfect choice. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. I love the soundtrack for the first movie. I love the soundtrack for the second movie. This soundtrack just blew both of those. I would pit this soundtrack above any of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. How about that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I went there.
Oh.
I like this soundtrack more than I like the Guardians.
I would tie it with Guardians. I would
I'm not
tie
saying
it
that
with
the Guardians were
1.
bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're bad.
Yeah.
I liked the music in this one over the Guardians music. I would listen to this one in the shower versus
I loved
listening
when
to the Guardians in the shower. Although I did listen
loved
to Mr.
when,
Blue Sky in the car today, so there's that.
I loved when he was digging up after he dug up Logan, and he was like, "Well, I'm no man of science, but I'm pretty sure you're dead." And it was his skeleton. My theater just was laughing, and then
that was hilarious.
It was a perfect way to reference Logan, without that was just so funny.
Yeah, that whole scene where he was like, he's digging and he's talking to the camera and he goes, "There's things people don't know about regenerative properties and blah blah blah." I'm willing to bet he's just laying in there dead, and he hits the skeleton and he looks down and he just goes off on this tirade, and all you see is his head like right above the dirt line. John, swear this and swear that. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to use up all my swears right now, and he pulls out the skeleton. And then he kills all the guys. He tells the guys with the TVA, because that's when the TVA guys all showed up. He's like, "I'm not going to use my weapons to kill you," and then he uses the skeleton to kill them.
The adamantium.
The adamantium
and
skeleton.
There's 207.
Y'all caught the Will Smith joke, right?
Will Smith.
when he stabs the TVA agent with Wolverine's like arm, and then because the TVA agent said something about Ryan Reynolds not being the best thing out of Canada, and he said, "Keep my country's name out of your mouth."
Oh, yeah.
And my friend's arm, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Something like
again. That there was 2 or 3 references to him being from Canada, and the Canadian
Mhm.
references. You drop that when he was beating the crap out of the. Oh, it was there are 206 bones in the human body, and 207 when I watch Gilmore Girls. 207 in
No.
mine when I watch
Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl. Gossip Girl. And that's
Gossip
because
Girl, yeah.
did you catch that? His wife is
God.
like in Gossip Girl.
Mhm.
So
She was also
That was one of the ones.
Lady
That
Deadpool.
was when the audio cut out, so I didn't catch that one.
she was Lady Deadpool. The kid was Ryan Reynolds' child. Was actually like his little daughter, Kid Deadpool, and
Who,
Baby Deadpool was his other child.
mhm.
So like the Reynolds clan was in it. So yes, it was great. Oh, and the voice of
Oh, perfect. Ryan Reynolds was hilarious. Like the guru, the cheerful Ryan Reynolds. I
Nice
love that.
pool.
nice
The
pool.
dog pool.
How long does this
Yeah,
take you to
nice pool.
regenerate? Regenerate?
What's that?
Yeah.
Cowboy Pool was Matthew McConaughey.
That's what I was. Matthew McConaughey was Cowboy Pool, and
Wow.
the knight. I can't remember what they called him. Sir Deadpool was
Night pool.
Night Pool was one of the guys from Wexham, which I guess Ryan Reynolds
He owns that
part of
team.
that team. Yeah.
Co-owns.
So
Yeah.
What was you holding up, Chris?
yeah, you disappeared.
It disappears. So I have a
It
Lady
must-
Deadpool. Hold on.
Is it inflatable?
No.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
It's a
nice.
special figure.
Very cool.
Somebody gave it to me as a gift. I was like, "Why didn't you give me regular Deadpool?" And they were like,
Because you need a lady.
"That's not a kind way to appreciate a gift."
Oh,
And I
no.
was like,
You need a lady in your life. That's what it is.
"It's like I didn't have the original." All right. Yes, I'm keeping it.
What am I supposed to do with this? This is a doll.
It's an
I
action
put it in the
figure.
box. So
Yeah. Well, because it's a girl. I was like, it's a doll.
Oh, and then when they got done beating the crap out of the Deadpool crew, they all start standing up and doing their arms and everything. And he's like, "Oh, I guess these ones regenerate."
oh yeah, that. What was the name of the nice Deadpool?
Nice pool.
Nice Pool.
Nice
That
Pool.
makes sense. Oh my gosh, yeah. And he didn't regenerate. That was great. That dog though. They got like that ugliest looking little dog.
Well, that dog actually is like the record holder right now for the ugliest dog in the world.
Well,
And
I
it
can
was
see why.
Oh, I thought it was kind of cute. I thought she was kind of cute.
Well, I was like, that is rough.
no, that's what the dog said.
rough. Yeah. So they made some references to Deadpool 2, but most of the characters in the team were just like there to serve as his family. I actually thought that was one of the weirder things about the film was like his relationship with his girlfriend, like how they were like broken up or whatever. I was like, what?
Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me.
Why? And then it was like, I guess.
I mean, they kind of explained it to where, he tried to get in on the Avengers, which, by the way, Jon Favreau again.
Oh, yeah, that was hilarious.
Glad you returned as Happy Hogan. So happy.
Yeah.
Now I'm happy.
Now I'm happy.
Well, and yeah, you're his chauffeur, and it's like, head of security. That was pretty funny. Head of security.
But he didn't have. So they kind of explained it to where apparently he didn't make the Avengers, and then he just kind of quit
Gave up.
superheroing. He gave up.
Well, he kind of lost his purpose, and him moping around the house, and I don't have a purpose. Blah 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 blah. And I think she was kind of sick of it after a while, and
It's like, I want to go back to stripping.
bye.
Go back.
Sorry, I had to do that.
And we did get the the Deadpool 2. What's his name from Deadpool 2 was in it a lot. Peter.
Peter.
And
Oh
Peter's cool.
yeah,
Funny.
dude, he was great.
I loved how all the Deadpools like gave up because they were like, Peter.
Okay, so I gotta ask.
And the earrings, the nipple earrings.
The
with
ni-
the
yeah, they
metal
go
I
down to
down
it.
love
button.
that he told a story about like someone he knew doing that, and then like the next scene you see him with it, and it's just like, all right, that was a hilarious setup. That was a great.
But see, I gotta know, and maybe I didn't see this, and maybe I did, but when Peter Poole showed up, he's in his costume, and he had the skin tight and everything, but you see his balls and his ball sack. Was his dick sticking out the top of his pants too? Was it
I don't
just?
know.
I swear I
don't
was
know.
like,
I
oh no.
I'd have
I don't know.
to
All I seen was
I don't know.
the
watch the instant
sack.
replay.
down
The
below.
The ball sack.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you need to see your prostate taken care of or something.
Every Deadpool's got a Peter.
Debbie as a nurse was like, oh, that doesn't look right.
That is not good.
Debbie, we're gonna put Peter in your harem too. No,
No.
but he's got that mustache and everything. He sure looks good. All right.
So how about Chris Evans?
Poor Peter.
I was so
That was
surprised
pretty
by
funny.
that because I thought
Yeah.
he
Steve
was Captain
Rogers.
America.
Yeah.
Just 'cause
Because
the way
that's
he's dressed.
all.
Yeah.
That's all Deadpool talked about was Cap. He saluted him in the TVA, and then he says, "Oh my God, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it."
Avengers?
He's gonna do. He's gonna do the
Flame
superhero
on!
landing.
Yeah.
Flame on them, like,
Avengers is like fireball.
Oh Lord!
Or
I
and
thought
then
that was great that they made him.
post-credit scene.
Well, so
Yeah.
when he gets the what's her name, and she pulls his skin off for saying all the stuff Deadpool, and
Sandra.
you're like, oh my God, he just threw him under the bus, and then you get to the post credit scene. It's like, let's look at the tape, and
Yeah,
he did
exactly.
say all that stuff. You're like,
I know
All
Chris
right.
Evans loved doing that because he has that type of sense of humor, and he had to play like Captain America, goody goody, like da 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 for all those years, and now he loves getting to turn around and like mess with people on that. Like in Free Guy, when Ryan Reynolds brings up the
Yeah.
shield, he's like, "What the fuck?"
greatest cameo ever. I'm sorry,
Best-
that's
best cameo ever.
I would put that above any of the Stan Lee cameos. I would even put that above the X-Men cameos from Deadpool 2.
And there
Just
were so
because.
many more cameos in this movie. I mean, obviously they had, now that he's in the Marvel, now that Disney officially is, and they're under, he can do more stuff. But they brought in like all those, like so Chris Evans flames on, and then like Pyro takes him down. I'm like, what? That's Pyro. And you see Toad, you see like Sabretooth who goes down.
And it was all the same people. It was Ray Park was playing Toad,
Azazel.
which he played Toad in the original movie. You had Tyler Mane playing Sabretooth.
I
Again,
was disappointed about Juggernaut because I really wanted another.
Mm.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah. You had Wesley Snipes in there doing Blade. You had Jennifer Garner in there with Elektra.
Oh.
Channing Tatum was hilarious, and the way that he was talking, and Deadpool
Yes.
being like, "Are we really sure that we should have this guy doing the exposition?" Because I'm not getting like anything that you're saying.
It reminded me of that guy from
Well, one thing that
Waterboy,
I
the
Yeah.
Cajun guy from Waterboy.
Yeah.
yeah.
But
I think one
again,
thing that helped me laugh at that a lot more was, seeing the X-Men original series, and he talks a lot, pretty close to what Gambit talks like in the series.
Oh yeah,
So
and
it was,
Gambit has
you
that
know,
like
pretty cool to see
Cajun
that.
Bayou accent. It's just like
It was
he-
thick with Tatum.
Yeah.
Tatum really hammed it up to say the
Yeah.
least. And really
Mhm.
it's funny about that because there was supposed to be a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum
Tatum.
as Gambit, and then
that blew up.
Disney bought Fox, and it kind of just they were like, yeah, no, throw it away.
And it's too bad.
Well, and
'cause-
he was supposed to be in The Last Stand too, and I think that that obviously fell through.
And Gambit, I think, is another one of those fan favorite X-Men that you haven't really seen in live action. He was in
Wolverine.
He was in that
the X-Men
a
Origins
bad
movie.
version. I mean, a version. They just made him do some weird stuff with when he climbed the wall with the. Anyway, the way they did him in this film was much, much better. I tell you, the theater went nuts when like Blade walks out, and even when Elektra walked out, some people were like, "Woo!" and I was like, "Nobody cares." That was funny too. When Deadpool was like, "Sorry about Daredevil being dead," and Elektra's just like, "Yeah, it's no."
It's a
And I was like, "All right, well, that was spot on, Elektra at least." So,
Or when Deadpool talks to Blade and he says, "I thought you were retired." Blade says, "Retarded." It's like, nope, that's not what I
no.
said.
The best one was
Yeah,
when he says something to Blade, and he was like, or Blade says something to him. I'm the one and only Blade. There's never gonna be another Blade. And Deadpool looks at the camera and is like,
Mhm.
Well, we're still waiting.
we are still waiting. It's in development hell, but we're still waiting.
yeah. I mean, they got the casting choice right. Now they just need to actually like write a
Make
film.
the movie.
Yeah.
Which Punisher? There's been 5. Has it been 5? Is Dolph, and then
Jane.
Thomas Jane. Then you had the guy that did it for Warzone. I don't remember who that was.
And Barenthal.
Barenthal. So there's only been 4.
It's a fair amount. What did you think of Cassandra as one of the villains? I guess you could say the TBA guy.
There was a bunch.
Be
There was
careful.
a bunch of villains in this, to say the least. And I don't mean like villains like, oh well, there's there's Lady Deathstrike, so we know she's a bad guy, and oh, there's the Juggernaut, we know he's a bad guy. No, there was like, you had the guy from the TVA that was like, you initially thought was, oh, this guy's a jerk and nobody knows what he's doing, and he's doing all this stuff behind the scenes, so he's kind of running the show. And then you get into the Void, and he's
like your bumbling corporate bad guy.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, he's in this position of authority in this TVA, which has ridiculous amounts of power compared to like what normal people think of it. I mean, they've got Infinity Stones just lying in their desk. They're pruning timelines and shit. So like, the way that they think of like the existence of other beings is not exactly like how regular people think of it. So he doesn't think anything of like pruning entire timelines. He's like, that's the way we used to do it. I say we go back to doing it that way. So I'm just gonna like try and get rid of this whole thing, and I'll get promoted or something. Like, that's like his goal, is like showing off to his bosses. Like, and it's so funny that like he's willing to wipe out entire existences.
It's a lot like Iron Man 2, I should say, where you had Whiplash as the villain, but you also had Justin Hammer that was kind of pulling the strings of Whiplash until Whiplash kind of, yeah. I should have the clip. I don't have.
See, I'm telling you, the only way they could have saved Armor Wars is by bringing him back. And then you take that clip from Iron Man 2 when he's getting arrested, because everything that he says, he's just wrong about. And when he's getting arrested in Iron Man 2, he says, "Oh, you're going to see me again real soon." And by now it's been like 20 years. Just have him still in prison and like just getting out. Like, and just let him. He's a hilarious actor, and he can still be a villain. Huh?
Has it been that long?
It's been a while. I mean, not 20 years, but
It's
been a while. For him to have said, "You're going to see me again real soon," and for him to just be stuck in jail, like throughout the entire like Infinity War and Endgame, like he's just been in jail because he's not like good enough to get out, or no one wants to break him out. So he finally just like gets out somehow. I don't know, and just throw him back into the mix. I think Justin Hammer is just hilarious. So.
But again, that's you had the big corporate guy pulling the strings of the real bad, and then the real bad kind of steps in and takes over things, and
that's exactly what happens in this is
and in fact it even to the point of once she's dead, she they get in there and they blow up the thing, and he thinks everybody's dead. And they ran in there. We just found out about it, and she had this. I thought she was supposed to be stuck in the void. And what are you guys doing, letting her in? Blah blah blah. And then here comes Deadpool and Wolverine. Why aren't you guys dead? Well, you took two regenerative persons and a Madonna song.
Like,
and
if one of us had gone in and done that, they would have died. But there were two of us, and so and I was like, that's just
that's just bad writing.
I was like, that's what I was thinking when they both went in there. I was like, now they're both there. It's like it would have killed one. I was like, that's exactly the type of logic that should be being used right now. So yes. Excellent.
We caught the Star Trek reference, I'm assuming, Debbie.
And
yes. Yes.
He shuts the door on him. Yeah. That was great. So many references.
Andrew, did you catch the Star Trek reference? I know I don't recall if you've seen Wrath of Khan.
I did.
All right.
No, but I got the I know the scene.
I was gonna say you need to go watch Wrath of Khan. Of all the souls that I've encountered, his was the one that was most human.
Oh man.
What else? What else do we do? There's a lot of stuff. I just remember like I laughed at this one. There was a lot of laugh. I mean, there was a lot of drama involved, obviously, because you had X-23 was back.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of him reconciling with her, even though it's not really him, and it's But still,
she is someone that could understand like all of the other X-Men dying, because she kind of came from a world where
the X-Men were dying.
They were all getting killed off.
Dead.
So, and for him to say like, I let all my friends, and she's like, you were never the right guy, like until you were. Which is kind of, he always was kind of resistant to his. He always would like act like he wasn't the hero, but he would always then do the thing that a hero would do.
He was the ultimate anti-hero. So
him teaming up with Deadpool was just a match made in heaven.
Really was. The fight scene in the car. I want to touch on this because
that was great.
When it started, I was just like, how is this going to end? Because both of them regenerate. They're fighting each other. This could just literally go on for ever.
Well, that's what I thought was so funny, is that they kept fighting each other, because I know we've talked about this before, like when we've talked about the Avengers, it's like, okay, so now we have the two people meet and they have to fight each other first because we have to have a scene of them fighting each other, and then once they get to know each other, they're going to be like, okay, let's be on the same side now. In this, they just keep going back and fighting each other like at least two more times after the initial time, like and since they can both regenerate, it's
loved when the radio.
But it wasn't very long. It was only like a little snippet. I was hoping they'd have quite a bit of the song in there, and they didn't.
But when it finally did, and they panned up over the top of that Odyssey, and you've got Wolverine laying there, and then you've got Deadpool like literally wrapped up in all of the seatbelts. My biggest question for all of you: the future of the MCU expectation bar has been set high. The future MCU expectations bar have been set high.
I
Yeah.
mean, you could say like things like Infinity War and Endgame also have set the bar high, and it's hard to hit that bar. I think this movie is not the same way because those are like 10-year long events, but this movie is kind of like a 10-year long event. You think back when like Deadpool, just to get that made, what Ryan Reynolds had to do, release that footage, and then it's an R-rated, superhero, and like the kind of stuff that they had to push through, and then Fox gets bought out. And now here he is after Endgame and Infinity War have already finished up. You think like the MCU, and then he comes in Marvel Jesus, and like this movie does set pretty high expectations, but I don't know if the MCU is going to be able to meet those high expectations, because if I'm thinking about the movies before this one, like after Endgame and before this one, I know I like Spider-Man. The Doctor Strange movie was okay. I
had higher hopes for that one.
Yeah, and then what? Eternals, I don't really care. Shang-Chi.
I like Shang-Chi. I don't care. I liked the Marvels. I
The
enjoyed
Marvels, I was tripping when I went to see it, and I really enjoyed it. So I remember I was just losing it, and then the Flurkins came out, and I was cracking up, and I was like, I don't know if I would be enjoying this nearly as much regularly, but I enjoyed the Marvels when I saw it.
I don't know, and I think that honestly that was one of the things. I know the question was posed with there were things that you didn't like about it, and I think one of the things that I don't know that I didn't like necessarily, but I was disappointed with was that Feige said before this movie came out, he said this is where the X-Men will be introduced to the MCU. And you had one X-Man in it. You had Wolverine. And even then, when they got done, they went back to Deadpool's universe. They didn't go back to universe, where are we in the MCU? 616 or whatever it is. So, I mean, it's an MCU movie, and it dealt with some MCU stuff, and they made fun of the MCU and everything, but how does that tie the X-Men to the current MCU in World 616?
Well, it's like what
Teenage
Cassidy said in the chat.
Teenage War Sonic, whatever her name is, she was there.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Well, yeah, she was there, but she was in the whatever his was like Universe 10,006 or something.
Yeah.
But now they're in the Marvel movie, so
yeah, but they're in the Marvel movie, but they went back to his universe, so they're back in.
It don't matter. They're Marvel now.
All right.
You almost made Debbie break the PG-13 barrier there, David.
I almost did. I'm good at that. And see, that was, I mean, that was one thing that bothered me. Again, if you're going to sit there and say, oh, well, this is how the X-Men get introduced to the MCU, that's fine. But put some X-Men in, maybe other than just the Wolverine. Well, Gambit, yeah.
Yeah, to Gambit. You just, Gambit. Come on now. Yeah. Channing Tatum, Gambit. Actually exploding people.
Hey, Deadpool's back on. Deadpool was with us last week too.
I really liked what they did with Gambit and having him explode people because, Azazel. And like the bad guys were there, like Juggernaut, Toad, Pyro.
Yeah,
there was a lot of X-Men references.
Yeah.
Sabretooth. Yeah.
I mean, Cassandra, again, a villain from the X-Men. But, I mean, so there were a lot of mutants.
I did enjoy her.
It wasn't like, but it was also, they were all in, like, the wasteland. Like, the place.
The void.
The TVA, the void. So it's not connected
to
anything.
At the end of the movie, Deadpool asks, can you bring my friends back? We do see X-23, so I think we can assume that everybody might have went back to their own
Timelines.
universe.
Like
and
Wolverine just walks away from him at the end. He's like, "Till you're 90," and then he just like walks away. He's like, "Whatever." I've seen a lot of people online requesting team ups, like do a Deadpool and a Spider-Man movie, do a Deadpool and this type of movie. So like I think it's been pretty good so far with Deadpool like teaming up in each of his movies. He kind of like he teams up with different people. That's part of the great thing about him is how he gets to like joke around with people that are taking things very seriously. So I think it would be fun to see like a Spider-Man, Deadpool, all different kinds of. I mean, I'm just a Deadpool fan, so
it's not Thor.
Mix it up with whoever, but
Thor got silly in the last movie, so to mix silly with silly would just be.
Well, I think it would be funny because like then they'd have to have a more serious Thor, and then Deadpool can be making fun of all the crap that they did in the last movie. He's like, what was up with those goats? I thought that was a good idea. You signed off on that. Even after test audiences, you left in that. Okay.
You left that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it should have.
Well, they did show it in the Void again.
Yeah. Where things are sent that they just want to forget about.
Done.
So, done. There was the Void. So the Mad Max scenes. Did you happen to catch there was 2 vehicles there? One of them was the Fantastic Four's Fantasticar. And the other one was Dr. Doom's, not Dr. Doom, Red Skull. Red Skull's car from the Captain America movie.
Oh, yeah. I saw the Red Skull. I didn't catch the other one.
Yeah, the Fantastic car was there, too. That was great. And then the Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Pim Falls. Is that the one that Kang killed? Are you the one that I killed?
Yeah, it's keeping track. There's an infinite amount, and again, that's why the multiverse thing kind of has to, it's like you've destroyed the stakes. We'll just go get another one. Yeah. Like anytime someone dies, like okay, well we've got an infinite number of them, so who cares?
Yeah, the whole. I thought that was good too. A universe's what was it? It was base character.
Oh yeah, like core character. Yeah.
Core character has been killed.
Anchor.
And now
Anchor
character. Yeah. Now the timeline is disintegrating.
Anchor
He's like,
being,
well, okay, I'll go back. No, it's not you.
It's not you. Oh, that reminds me of something that we haven't said yet. When he's getting his new suit put on.
Oh, God.
That little montage.
Oh,
like the slaps and everything. I was cracking up during that. He's like, by the way,
the Mickey Mouse hands.
And the little squeaks and noises when it would do like a grab and then a smack and then like a honk honk and then
a lot of time that he smacked his butt and grabbed his crotch numerous times.
Yeah. And he's like, by the way, that guy's definitely a pedophile or like definitely a predator. Yeah, predator. He's like,
yeah.
Your tailor is definitely a predator, by the way.
Yeah, that was amazing. Oh, and the one guy that's in the TVA that he was making fun of too.
Oh, the guy that was always like
the little pudgy guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, I body shamed him. I didn't mean to do that.
It looks like his butt's about to hit his face.
Yeah, and then he goes through the door.
It looks like he's about to get butt to the face, and then the TV. Yeah, then he opens it, and the guy's like, oh, "Yeah." Well, then later in the movie, after Hugh Jackman, Wolverine and Deadpool walk out after once they save the timeline, and Wolverine is shirtless, and that guy's there, and he's kind of, he's like, "Ooh."
Yeah. Again, we had another Thor moment there. You flicked too hard. But it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't as silly or corny. It knocked his shirt off, but
No.
for some reason his pants and his mask stayed on, as did Deadpool's.
Oh, it was
Right.
pure.
It was definitely poking fun at the.
It was
the,
absolutely it just
the
explodes,
shirtless-
and Deadpool looks at him like, like,
And
his
he's got all
mask is
evil.
on, but then his abs are
As
out.
did
and, like,
Debbie.
The amount of holy shits that I heard in the movie theater from women, me including me. I was just like, holy shit. Damn, Hugh.
Here's the thing, and again, we're looking at this double standard again, because if it had been Lady Deadpool in there and that had happened to her, and all the guys in that theater went, "Oh, holy shit!" all of those women would have been, "You disgusting pig!"
How could you? Why? It's
I
like
wouldn't have, but
Exactly.
it's me.
Just saying, double standard.
it is. Well, and it's only.
Yeah.
It's really only when I only have a problem with that when I see like people complaining about it in articles. Like I saw what's her face who played back Scarlett Johansson after having played Black Widow, eventually came out and was like, I didn't like how they sexualized the character. And I'm like, you don't get to complain about that when you auditioned for the role of sexy spy. Okay? A sexy spy has to be sexy. If you don't like a sexy spy being sexy, don't audition for the role of sexy spy.
I didn't like the way it was sexualized, and it's like, have you read the comics? Do you know what's going on?
And she uses it as a weapon, just like James Bond uses his attractiveness to like sleep with people, but also like gather information. Or it's called the honeypot. If people find you physically attractive, you can, and that's the spy thing. She lulls people into a false sense of confidence. But to say like, oh, I didn't like how they sexualized the character. Meanwhile, they have like Thor being chained to the ground and then like stripped naked in front of like, women who are like, ooh. And it's like, okay, nothing even close to that has ever happened to any woman in the Marvel, like
that's sexualized.
And it's clearly, and it's Thor, and the women are like, it's, and I think that scene was almost deliberately done just to
I think it was
turn
done
the
to
tables.
say, I think it was done to say, oh, he's not in-game Thor anymore. He's
sexy
back
again.
up. Yeah, he's sexy again.
Yeah.
We're not fat Thor anymore. We're sexy Thor.
Dude hangs dong.
So.
It's just, what are you gonna do? I thought it was the timing that Deadpool did it with, though, made it that much better. Like the way that they waited with Wolverine's mask to put that on till the end. They got him in the iconic suit. The suits actually goes through like changes during the movie because it's getting ripped to shreds. Like Wolverine regenerates, but his suit's getting pretty beat up. And then he breaks out that helmet at the end. It's like, oh man.
I was honestly expecting, because he just pulled it out like he's had it this whole time.
Yeah,
it's like a hoodie. And I expected him to say something about that and say, you've had that this whole time, and you're just now putting it on.
He goes, he just says something about the blowjob handles on the side.
Yeah. And then it comes out, and of course the mask is still there, and it's beautiful and glorious, and that's it. Whatever.
So, do they have they announced a new X-Men movie past like
not,
this? Or they're
not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
They're still keeping a lid pretty tight on that. I know in Miss Marvel they had mentioned something about mutations. They said then again in the Marvels, the post-credit scene in the Marvels where you had Monica Rambeau and she crossed dimensional, and she ended up with Beast in the X-Men, and it was Kelsey Grammer's Beast from X-Men. So they've touched on it a little bit. Feige said that this would be their introduction into it, which again I was like, kind of sort of already been introduced, but I want to see more. I want to see how you're going to throw. But again, I'm of the mind. I'm ready for the X-Men. I want them to do the X-Men, but I kind of honestly want a reboot.
Absolutely. That's the thing is like, I liked the original X-Men and then X-Men 2. I enjoyed those films. X-Men 3 was like, I still liked it, but there were like Kelsey Grammer's Beast was great. All right, I don't care what anyone says. It's fantastic.
Well, Kelsey Grammer's Beast was great, and Patrick Stewart's Professor X was great too.
And Ian McKellen as Magneto, great. And then they did like First Class, and I liked that one. It was the ones after First Class that kind of like fell off for me. I wasn't a huge fan of Hunger Games chick. What's her face? Jennifer Lawrence. Because she's said multiple times like she didn't like doing the makeup for Mystique, and I feel like it was just a mistake to get a very recognizable, like famous person like that to play the character of Mystique. Like you should get someone more like the chick from the original. Like I don't know if she was super famous before that role, but she was more to like get into the blue.
That was Rebecca.
Jennifer Lawrence just goes around always looking like Jennifer Lawrence, and it's like
it was Rebecca Romaine Stamos after she got Stamos.
Well, I didn't, that meant nothing to me. So she was Mystique.
Deadpool does the Fantastic Four movie create the mutants? Well, Deadpool, you're in the universe. You would know, wouldn't you? I don't know.
Spoilers.
Maybe. Spoilers. We want spoilers.
You can tell us.
You can, yeah.
What do you know? Yeah.
You can tell us. You can hear it here first, right here on MC Mondays. It's great. I know that there have been a lot of backlash about this. I saw a lot of TikToks today about people ranting that it's what was it? It's blasphemous. And I can't believe, it's horrible. 25 minutes in, and he calls himself Marvel Jesus and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, he's not calling himself Jesus. He's not saying he's the Messiah. I mean, he's the Messiah, the savior of the Marvel universe.
I think
he's not really a title.
Exactly.
He's not calling himself. It's more of he's relating to the character, to the person,
If that's enough to upset you, you shouldn't be going to a Deadpool film.
Well,
you don't. This isn't for you.
No,
this is not.
This is Deadpool. Did you not see the first two movies? Do you not realize that this is going to be filthy and raunchy, and it will probably have something in it that's going to offend everyone?
I saw one review that was like, no, it's just the coarseness of this film means that like it's really not going to be for everyone. And I was like, that's why they rated it R. I don't know how. That's like the people that went to see the movie Ted and then complained because they brought their kids to see the teddy bear movie and he was saying the F word. And it's like, well, you took your kids to an R-rated movie, you walnut. If you can't, we should probably take your children away because what are you doing, you stupid human?
It was in the trailer.
Exactly. It's in the trailer.
It was in the trailer. So you knew it was there before you even went to go see the movie.
It's pretty obvious. I mean, I've got a cross behind me, but I think that line's hilarious. I think it's
again,
funny.
It's not. He's not saying that he is Jesus. He's not saying he's God. He's making himself. He's the savior of the universe. And when people think of a savior, what do they think? They either think of Jesus or Neo. So
those probably are the same.
Yeah, these are people that are just doing it for the rage bait.
I guess.
Dark Arts.
They're doing it for the rage bait.
They're the people that don't watch Harry Potter because of the dark arts,
Yeah.
They're
witches, and the Bible says, "Suffer not a witch to live." Yeah. I'm gonna actually stop you right there. How much of the Bible have you read? I think you saw a meme somewhere, and now you've decided to. Look, seriously though, if you're offended by the line if Marvel Jesus, this movie is not for you. You don't.
And again, it's rated R. You've got to think that it's not going to be. This is not a clean, wholesome. Oh, but it's MCU. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know what? Step into a new world. You've got to look at the character. The character of Deadpool is an R-rated character. I don't care
Blade was R-rated, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
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 But-
Blade was.
But
Yeah.
Blade was not part of the MCU. Deadpool,
I love what
up
Deadpool
until
says.
this movie,
I
is not
said,
part
"Hey
of the MCU.
Zeus, my landscaper."
Yeah.
Deadpool's. I said, "Hey Zeus, my landscaper."
Soft J.
Anything else? Did we miss anything you want to talk about,
and-
Debbie?
Well, and one more thing.
go
Deadpool
ahead.
is also sarcastic. He's also being sarcastic when he says that line too. So that you got to look at the way he's delivering it. So anyway,
Just to go back to at the beginning of the show, we were talking about Doomsday and Secret Wars. Doomsday comes out May 1st, 26. Secret Wars comes out May 7th, 27.
Oh, all right. So Doomsday is first then.
as of now, that may change. Those may
Yeah.
be pushed. I don't know.
I stand corrected.
It's
So there you
okay.
go.
It's okay.
I like Luke Skywalker do make mistakes and fall off my pedestal from time to time.
So out of 10,
The
what
only
are we
reason
rating
I
this
remembered
movie?
that is because I saw.
Out of 10,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give
I
it
know my
like
rating.
I'm gonna give it like an 8.5, maybe an 8.7, because one, I don't believe in a perfect movie, so I don't believe in a perfect 10. But two, the mutant thing is still bothering me. So
I go 9 or even 9.5. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I haven't had this much fun in a movie. I don't even know when. Maybe the last time I saw a Deadpool movie. But like, it just had me laughing, had the entire theater laughing. Like, and there were moments in some like Spider-Man. I know there were some moments like that. And you know, other movies like Endgame and Infinity War. But this just had, I mean, Deadpool really manages to nail it with it's something called the elasticity of emotion. And so basically, over the course of your movie, you want peaks and valleys, high action, low action, high emotionality, like high happiness, deep sadness, because that leads to like greater jumps. And I think Deadpool plays with that back and forth very well. Like there's incredibly hilarious humor, and then the next thing you know, he's like showing how he's been broken up with his girlfriend for so long, and there's that sadness, and then there's like all the incredible humor, and then the tragedy of Wolverine's world, and then like the mixture of those things, the back and forth. They totally nailed it. And like Ryan Reynolds said when he was talking about like the script doctors and the people that are going to come and try and push these different things, they kept entertainment at the forefront. They wanted to make sure the audience had a good time, and I think they absolutely succeeded.
I think that's why the three Guardians movies worked so well, and Thor Ragnarok. I think that was definitely to where, I mean, it was funny at times, but in the same token, it was serious and there were real stakes.
Yeah,
Versus
Ragnarok
versus Love and Thunder, where it was like, well, this is just one long joke.
That one took it a
little too far. Andrew, what's your rating?
I'm gonna go with a 8 out of 10. I think that this movie is really fun and entertaining. It's not the movie's fault. It'll go up when I'm able to watch the movie and hear everything that's said. That's not the movie's fault. That's my theater's fault. But once I know what some stuff is said, then it'll
For those
There's
probably
also
go to about
usually
8.5,
alternate
9,
versions
but-
of Deadpool movies. Like the theatrical release can be different than like the unrated version. Like I know I've watched the regular R-rated
true,
version of
yeah.
Deadpool 2, and then the unrated version. There's different jokes. There's more. There's
Yeah, the super
sometimes even they
duper
change
cut.
the soundtrack and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, and we talked about the first two Deadpool movies last week, and so going back and watching those, I'd gotten so used to watching Once Upon a Deadpool, which is the PG-13
the
cut.
PG-13 Deadpool.
Just because I love the interaction between Ryan Reynolds and Fred Savage and all of that.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, you've got all the interwoven stuff where it's like the oh well, this is the this is the Princess Bride thing. This is we're making this a family movie kind of thing, and I really enjoyed all that. Well, in preparation for the show, I watched the R-rated version of Deadpool, and I was like, oh, I forgot that was in there. You know, there was stuff in there that was like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember. Okay, all right, well. So, Debbie, what was yours?
I'm with Chris. It's about a 9.5. And the only reason I knocked off a point or half a point was because, and maybe I wasn't paying attention because I was having too much fun, trying to get the jokes and whatnot and all the action. But the whole timeline thing confused me. I didn't get which timeline we were supposed to be in. I don't know. It all confused me. And so that kind of knocked it off a little bit for me. And somebody, I forget who said it in the comments, as they're rolling the credits and they're playing
the credits, yeah.
When they're playing Time of Your Life.
There's something unpredictable.
They're showing all the outtakes of the movies or whatever. I cried. I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, showing Chris Evans in Fantastic Four, going back and showing like a lot of cuts and like outtakes from the original X-Men, and they had more clips from like the original X-Men. They had some, they spliced in some of the later Fox ones, but mostly they stuck to like, Wolverine, Storm, Halle Berry's Storm.
It was basically all the Fox properties. It was clips from all of the Fox properties prior to the buyout.
Prior to the buyout. And it does make you look back on that as like, that is an era that's now gone. Now it is going to be under Disney. So like, hopefully
now it's
they'll
legend.
learn from those mistakes and their own mistakes going forward and be able to do something great with it. You hope so.
One can hope. I also, you were talking about the credits, and I've got to throw this out. I don't know if you caught it. I was sitting there watching the credits, and yes, I do read the credits from time to time when I'm waiting for a post-credits scene. I want to know if any of you caught this, and now I want to go back and rewatch the movie just so I can watch the credits again. When it gets to the very end of the credits, it says like it's doing the special thanks. Special thanks to Vancouver, British Columbia for letting us film here in special. One of the special thanks was for, and I'm going to try to get this as close as I can, was for Timmy Toothless, the blowjob king of Saskatoon.
I didn't see that. That's funny.
I was like, oh my God. Because I was sitting there, I'm just kind of reading the things, and all of a sudden I see it, and I was like, what? And the lady next to me, I didn't even know who she was. She just started cracking up. I'm like, did you see that too? And she's like, yes, I did. And I was like,
well, they had, they also had two in memory of, whatever you want to call him. The guy who plays Peter, his son died of a brain tumor not too long ago. So they had that in there. And then there's somebody else, I guess, who had worked on the film. I didn't catch his name, but he had died also earlier in the year. So I thought that was nice.
But they didn't do the opening credits like they have been doing them. It was all like the legit names and everything.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, I was too.
They did do it during like a fight scene though, so or they made it during
there was one neat little Easter egg during the Marvel intro when Cap throws his shield as part of that, and then you see a clip from Deadpool, and it's back when he's dodging I forgot. Colossus in the first Deadpool, but it's supposed to be like he's dodging Cap's shield.
Well, there was a lot of Deadpool within the opening. In fact, I had even thought about pulling that, with the Marvel logo flashing up and all the Deadpool cameos and that.
Well, I tell you
And that
what,
credit goes to New Rock Stars. I did not find that on my own.
when they were doing that opening, the Marvel opening, and then towards the end, you can hear somebody going dun 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 dun, and I swear to God, I thought it was the two old guys behind me because I was getting ready to turn around and like, what the fuck?
It's Deadpool.
And then I realized it was Ryan. I was like,
Yes.
okay, now I feel stupid. I swear it sounded like it was right behind me.
And it never fails in every theater that I go to watch a movie in, or at least a Marvel movie. The credits start playing and people get up and leave, and I'm like, "Are you people crazy? You know there's
They
gonna
did
be a
it in my
post-credit-
movie
There was
theater.
a lot of them that left too. I'm like, seriously? You know there's something coming, right? We're gonna have a post-credit.
Yeah,
scene. You know
exactly.
that, right? You're gonna be like me on the first Iron Man and have to go back and watch it again so you can watch the post-credit scene. All right.
Black Nick Fury. Back when that was a.
Oh gosh.
Nick Fury's black.
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury.
Shameless plugs. Do we have anything tonight, Debbie? What do we got?
We got War of the Stars on Wednesday. They'll be dropping or uploading a episode. I don't know what we're doing Thursday.
Maybe we'll take the night off.
Okay. So
I think we're
Cantina.
going to take the night off. No Cantina this week because
Cantina is out.
David needs the night off.
And then Geek Gauntlet on Saturday. That's all I got. And I don't know what we're doing next week.
We're back on Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Yeah, gotta go.
We're
Gotta
back
finish
on
watching Daredevil.
Deadpool, Debbie. Come on.
Yeah, we're back on Deadpool. I mean Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta finish watching. Yeah.
Chris, do you have anything shameless plug wise?
Oh, nah, not really at the moment.
Okay.
I just got. If you want to look me up on TikTok, it's at It's a Vase. I just make a bunch of music video type things and other types of compilations and mixes and mashes and all different types of stuff. So
I did
They're
see
really good.
I saw the TIE Fighter one just recently with the is it Freebird you got playing on that one?
yeah, so there's one that I have Freebird playing, actually one that's even more popular. So it's that TIE Fighter anime that came out a number of years ago. But I took a remix of the Freebird one's pretty good, but then someone was like, this left out, because I had to cut off the beginning of the thing. It was like, this left out a bunch of cool stuff. So I found this remix of Red Hot Chili Peppers Can't Stop. It's actually like 6.5 minutes long, which encompasses the whole thing. And so I just like to do stuff like that, like remix different fight scenes or compilations of different music and all different kinds of stuff. So at It's a Vase.
Go check it out. A lot of fun. Andrew, you have anything shameless plug wise?
Yeah, we do have a fan question.
Oh,
for this episode.
Yes.
We did touch a bit on it. Yeah, we did touch a bit on it earlier at the beginning, but it's from Garrett Jones.
Okay.
From War of the Stars. He asks, do you feel Kevin Feige is getting desperate and that Marvel has hit creative bedrock by pulling the Russo brothers and RDJ back into the MCU?
No. He realizes that that's what works. He realizes he had a good thing and he's bringing it back. He's like, okay, phase 4 has really crapped out.
Yeah.
We had something
The Russo
that
brothers
worked,
know what they're doing.
Yeah, we had something that worked and we changed it. So
Yeah.
now
they had to do something to get over the Kang
Please.
dynasty that is no longer
Reinvigorate.
happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you have any thoughts on that, Chris?
I think the Robert Downey Jr. On the one hand, I think yes, it's partially like a business move. Like, hey, these are the people, but it's also, it kind of makes, these are the people that got us to such great heights, perhaps we should revisit them or go back to what worked then and see, or maybe they've got something fresh that they can actually bring into this. I mean, and Robert Downey Jr. is not going to be playing Iron Man, so maybe it's a chance for him to like show off something else in the MCU that he's not been able to do previously, like act as in a way that he wasn't able to do as Iron Man. Not that it'll be like better or worse, it's just it's a different character, so he'll be able to so maybe flex some different muscles there, which I think, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is a draw. The Russos, you know, that is going to draw people in, so it does make sense from a business point of view. But I think it's also, you know, it could be what they need, especially with the Kang stuff going awry, you know.
Yeah.
It's like a safety, you know, it's like we know this has worked before, like it's a return to, hopefully it'll be like a return to form is probably what they're looking for, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm 50-50 on Robert. I mean, I was ecstatic to see him on stage, but then I'm like, what the fuck? But, you know, I'm just going to wait and see what they do with the character and go from there.
Yep.
I think he's kind of tiny to be playing Dr. Doom. Isn't Doom like a tall, bulky guy?
Well, once they give him like a set of
Wolverine is short,
pauldrons,
so
they'll give him like the pauldrons and then the cape that goes over that. It makes you look much bigger. He did look that suit that they gave him. I was not super sure about that. I was like,
what the
that had to have been a last minute. That was they ran out to Kmart and bought a cheap.
the only thing we have is a Riddler costume. That'll have to do.
And we're gonna spray paint this
like,
Iron Man mask
I was like,
gray,
that's like
so
something I have in
it'll
my
work. Don't worry,
closet.
it'll be
Yeah.
fine. So
It didn't seem very last minute, even though they've known about this for a while. So I don't know what the deal was.
Yeah. Now the deal was confirmed this
You know
morning.
what's funny though? In the video from the crowd, a lot of people are going like, "Oh, it's Robert. It's going to be Robert," and then someone says Jared Leto.
I heard that one.
and
It's
everybody,
Morbin time.
and then everybody
Yeah,
flew
I was
rough
like,
with that
"Oh
person.
gosh." Yep.
So, all right. Well, I've got nothing, so that's going to do it for us right here on MCU Mondays. Y'all all have a great week. We will see you next week here on MCU Mondays. Geek News Now. Check us out on all the socials. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Mash that bell for notifications so you know when we go live. We'll see you all.
What am I supposed to do around here anyway? Sit in a share circle, talk about my feelings? And how would I do that exactly? Because where the fuck is everyone? It's always just you and Negasonic Teenage longest name ever.
I said no touching.
The first movie made more money than the guy who invented pants. Okay, they can't just dust off one of the famous X-Men. How about that Potts with the giant pigeon wings? What do those do anyway, huh? Carry him 3 feet off the ground to snatch up the nearest muffin crumb? No, 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 no.